How am I able to braid 5 back braid in just one day? So this is the question that I got all across my social media when I posted this viral video of me working and braiding 5 back braid in just one day. So a lot of the questions were, how are you able to be this fast? So if you want to know how I'm able to do 5 back braid in just one day, keep watching. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Fatu and I'm a full-time hair braider. Today's video is going to be about how you can braid fast and efficiently as a braider, or even for yourself. Last month I recorded myself working from morning to night. I believe that day I worked from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and I was able to braid 5 people, and it was it were all back braids. So I posted on my social media and it was crazy how people reacted to it. Some people were saying that it was crochet braids. Some people were saying that there's no way you braided back braid in just 2.5 hours. All that kind of stuff. A lot of people actually wanted to know how I'm able to braid 5 back braids in just one day. I've actually done more than 5 back braids in one day, depending on the style people are doing. So I'm here to tell you all the tips and tricks that I've learned through over the years that allows me to do this. So a little bit about myself. I have been braiding for about 13 years. So I've had a lot of experience working as a braider. I first started braiding in a hair salon. So in the hair salon setting, back in the days, it was first come first serve. So if you're the first person in the salon, you get the first client that walks into the salon. So after all the braiders get their client, then the second client that you're gonna get, it will be after everybody gets their first client. So you needed to be fast and ready when that second client comes in to make your money. So that's where I learned to braid really fast, because the motivation was I needed to be done so that way I can get my next client instead of somebody else getting my next client, because I'm still working on that first client that I got. I have my phone here to make sure I'm giving you guys all the teas that I know and not forgetting anything. The first trick I'm going to talk to you about is pre-parting. Pre-parting has been the holy grail of this generation because of the knotless braid. Everybody want their part to be nice and neat, all the braids to be the same size and all that kind of stuff. While all that is nice and great, you don't need to pre-part all the time. So when I first started doing knotless braid, I was pre-parting as well. But the thing about it is you need to learn as you're working. When you start your braiding journey, you can start with pre-parting. So that way you have an understanding of how the head shape is, how different people head shapes are, and how you can cater to every single client differently, because everybody is different. So once you learn, you have to eventually drop the pre-parting. You have to be able to assess the client's hair and know which method of parting you're going to use. So once you do that, you will be able to save a lot of time with that, because you're going to be parting as you go and braiding as you go. Because a lot of the time when you pre-part and you go back to braid, you still will have to adjust that part and make sure it's nice and neat. The second trick that I'm going to talk to you about is making sure you have a standard size and length. Standardizing your sizing and length kind of ties into pre-parting as well, because once you have a standard size, you know how to part your client's hair. So let's talk about this, right? What do I mean by standardizing? So for me, for example, I have in my standard of braiding, when I'm doing a jumbo braid, it will be 3 rows on each side of the head, right? And then 1 row in the back. So when I'm doing a large, it will be 4 rows on each side of the head. So that will be a total of 8 rows in the front and 2 rows in the back. So when my client books for medium mid back, for example, I know that my mid back stops at the bra length. So I know also that my medium is 5 rows on each side of the head. So when I'm parting the hair, I know exactly that I'm going to be doing 2 rows in the back, and I'm going to do 5 rows on each side of the head. So when I'm parting, I am looking at how to make sure I'm getting all the braids, all the rows in the front, and they're also uniform. So with time, you're able to learn those things. The next thing we're going to talk about is prepping the hair. Yes. So if you prep the hair, you're cutting so much time. The client is sitting in your chair. What I personally like to do is start my day an hour ahead of time, depending on how many clients I have. Maybe an hour or an hour and a half ahead of time, and I will prep the hair for every single client. I'm able to do that because when my clients book for a service, I tell them to make sure they specify the hair color that they're going to use. So I know exactly what hair color they're going to use, and I'm able to prep it before they even come for their appointment. And while we're on the topic of the hair, one of the best things that I did was get a hair supplier that have different length of hair. So I order hair from 28 inches to 56 inches. So somebody that's doing medium mid-back, I'll be able to use 38 inches for the back of their braid and 48 inches for the front of their braid. That way the braid, they're all the same length, and I don't have to keep adding hair, which saves me a lot of time. And if somebody is doing waist length, for example, I can just use the 56 inches hair, and that also saves me time. I don't have to be adding hair to give the length that the clients want. So making sure you have different length of hair is going to save you a lot of time as well. This next one is a no-brainer, but I feel like I have to mention it because people still doing this. Stop texting or going on social media when you're working. Guys, first of all, it's very unprofessional. Second of all, you're working. This is your business. You need to take it seriously. As much as you will not be at work on your phone, you should not be on your, like, if you had a 9 to 5 and you worked in an office setting or something like that, you wouldn't be on social media when you have work to do. So why would you do that for your own business? It doesn't make sense to me. So for me, I do not text people when I'm braiding. I don't do it unless it's an emergency. So for example, if my next appointment is texting me about parking or location and things like that, then I consider that an emergency. I will stop for a few seconds and I'll reply to that text message. Or I have a client that's doing a particular style and I don't have that hair, and they're standing at the beauty supply sending me pictures and telling me what is the appropriate hair to get, then I will reply to those things. I put it in my booking website that I will make sure I reply to everybody within 24 hours, and I make sure I tell them, unless it's an emergency, I will not be texting you back while I'm working. Believe it or not, when you're texting and constantly on your phone, replying to DM, replying to text messages while you're working, these times add up. It will take you a minute to send this text message. It will take you 2 minutes to read and send this other text message. These times add up. So before you know it, you're doing that all day, and it's adding up to 30 minutes being late, to a whole hour being late. Within that hour, you could be doing 6 braids, right? That's probably $100 if that's what you're charging, that you're leaving on the table. Now let's talk about what you can do so that you're not too tired. So what I like to do is I will stand up to braid the hair, then I will sit down and finish the ends. So when you do that, you're allowing yourself to rest while you're finishing the ends, and you're also making sure you're doing a good job at finishing the ends because you're sitting and you're not too tired. So it's kind of motivating to finish the braids all the way to the end. That way you're not standing too long, but you're also not sitting too long, which either way it could be too tired. Now let's talk about eating. A lot of people were telling me, when do you eat? Make sure you eat, make sure you this, make sure that. For me personally, I don't eat because it helps me with my diet. I'm gonna put a quotation on that because I'm not really on a diet, but being able to not eat all day, it allows me to be able to eat about 1 meal a day, and I can eat whatever I want, and it kind of keeps me in shape in a certain way. But if you have to eat, you can always put snacks next to you, or take an hour break in the midst of braiding and make sure you're eating something. But for me personally, I just keep my water bottle next to me, and I make sure I'm hydrated all throughout the day. And on a day that I'm really hungry and I'm tired, I have snacks for my clients in the salon anyway. So I'll have a little snack while I'm braiding, and it's not a big deal for me. I'm kind of used to it. I don't really take a break to eat. The last thing I'm going to tell you guys is that braiding is a seasonal work. At least from where I'm living, during the summertime, it's so busy. Like you're working back to back to back to back. No break, nothing. So when the summertime hits and then I'm getting such an influx of clients, that's when I'm working 6 to 7 days a week sometimes. And I'm working sometimes from 7 a.m. to like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. sometimes, right? Because I know when winter comes, that fall and winter season, it's really slow. That's when you're doing 1 to 2 clients a day at best, you know? So when that season comes, I would suggest you buckle up. You tell yourself, okay, it's going to be 4 to 5 months of me being busy and working hard, and you get that money, you save it for the rainy days. Like literally, as soon as the rainy days come, that's it. You're not getting that much clients anymore. So make sure you're using all these tips and tricks to braid as many clients as you can during the summertime where you're the most busy, and you're able to rest during the winter where it's less busy. I actually welcome these downtimes during the winter because I'm able to work on different projects and some of my hobbies and things like that, and I'm not as overworked as I was during the summer. And that's the time I also take my vacations and things like that. So it's not all that bad, but because it's a seasonal work, you need to do the work when you have the work. Even if you're not a braider, these tips can apply to you in your own home when you're doing your own hair or you're doing your children's hair or even friends and family's hair. So if you've learned something from this video and you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it to anybody that might get something out of it. Also subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time with another video. Thank you so much for watching. Love you. Bye.